Hi, my name is Julianne, and today I wanted to discuss some books that I've read. This isn't technically a wrap-up for 2020, but most of the books I'm talking about I read in 2020, but I'm not trying to wrap up the year or anything like that. I just have some books that I never reviewed, and I just kind of want to jump into them and talk about them today. So let's get into it. Let's start with something happy because, damn it, we need it. Last year, pre-pandemic, I read The Gentleman's Guide to Getting Lucky by Mackenzi. It actually feels like a lifetime ago since I read it. Anything that happened before the pandemic, even though it was last year, kind of just feels like a decade ago at this point. It just feels like a lifetime ago. Anyways, I love Mackenzi. I read her other... Well, it's part of the same series, but I read her other book, The Gentleman's Guide to Vice and Virtue, and A Lady's Guide to Petticoats and Piracy. I love both of those books. Mackenzi is hilarious and funny, and I highly recommend her books. Seriously. So this novella involves two of the characters. I don't know if it's a spoiler to mention which characters it is or not, but there's two characters that end up getting together by the end of the first novel, and so this novella is about those two main characters. It takes place between the first and the second book, and seriously, it's just cute, it's just adorable, and it's just a burst of happiness that you need. It's also extremely funny. I was laughing so hard at so many different scenes. I mean, I was laughing since page one. You know, it's so good. And then obviously there's like more like serious scenes and stuff like that, but it's just, most of it is just overwhelming cuteness and hilarity. So the first time I read this novella, and you can see it's short, I read this in one day, and the next day I started it again. It took me a little bit longer to reread it for the second time. A little bit later, I needed to go on a flight. Again, this is like in February, so COVID is a thing, but not yet quite a thing in America yet, and I didn't even hear about the word coronavirus until I was literally on the plane, actually after I got off the plane. But anyways, I have a fear of flying, and so this just kind of like helped distract me and everything during that, you know, the flight, and just like helped put me in a good mood while being 3,000 feet in the air. Basically, what I'm trying to say here is I reread this 3 times in like 2 months, and it's due for another reread. Now it's time for something a little bit more serious. Before I actually review Follow the Rabbit-Proof Fence by Doris Pilkington, I just wanted to apologize for a mistake I made in my Reading Rush TBR video. I mentioned that there were 2 authors. I can't really pronounce the second name because I just feel like I'm going to butcher it, but this is the second name, and I'll put it on the screen here for you guys, but this is actually her Aboriginal name. There aren't 2 authors. I said that there were because I thought there was 2 authors, since there's 2 names, but it's actually her Aboriginal name. So I just wanted to clear that up before I actually talk about the review. Anyway, so into the actual book. It is utterly heartbreaking. For those who don't know, Australia went through something that America went through, which was Aboriginals were rounded up, taken to reservations, separated from their families, their children were taken from them and made to assimilate into the culture, and that kind of stuff. Just like, you know, just anything that really happened with Native Americans is what happened with the Aboriginals. So this book, it's a true story. This documents these 3 girls, one of which is the author's mother, so her daughter is telling the story here, but it's about these 3 girls who are taken away from their families, and they decide that they want to go back home. So they literally travel by foot in Australia. I'll say on the back here, and then I'll translate. I'll put it in miles on the screen here, but they walked 1,600 kilometers across Australia just to get back home. It's an amazing journey, and they had to stay one step ahead of all these people who were hunting them down because, you know, they left a reservation, they left the school that was for the kids, and it's just I'm laughing because it's just so heartbreaking. I don't even know what to say. Like, it's just heartbreaking. I highly recommend it, and just, if you're gonna read this book, bring some tissues. Seriously. It's really good, but also, like I said, it's just incredibly sad at the same time just to see what they went through just to get back to their own families. The next book I want to discuss is The Grace Year by Kim Liggett? I think Liggett, maybe? As you can see, I did enjoy this book. I ran out of book darts and had to use like tabs, so I had a lot of thoughts, and then I never made a. Here's a theme. I didn't make a video on it, but I did have a lot of notes that I had. So The Grace Year takes place in the future, but there isn't like a lot of like sci-fi technology kind of thing going on. It's more like the society has regressed. It's more of a, I guess, like an agrarian type of culture, and women's rights are like non-existent in this society. It is believed that females possess powers, and when they're at 16, they are taken out into the wild to release their powers, and then they can come back to society and be proper women and not make a fuss and, you know, that kind of stuff. Basically, take them out into the wild, let them release their powers, and they'll come back and be obedient women, is the society. It's definitely a very interesting read. I really did enjoy it. I liked a lot of the book. It definitely feels very YA at times, which I know makes sense, it's YA, but it feels very YA in the sense of like the romance. Like, I don't know, if you read a lot of YA, you know what I think you understand. I don't know, it kind of felt cliche, but I love a good enemies to lovers romance, so I kind of am not opposed to it at the same time. I don't know, mixed feelings, whatever. In general, especially if you like YA, if you like, I don't know, like, I don't like saying this word because I feel like it's kind of like a trigger word, but it's the best word to describe. If you like more like feminist literature, I would recommend reading this book. The 10th Girl by Sara is interesting. Before I get into this review, I just want to say that I figured out the twist like halfway through the book. I don't know. I was like halfway through, and I was like, let me just investigate the cover a little bit. Let me look under the cover at like the book, not the book jacket, but like the actual cover, and you know, just look at it, see what's up. The cover literally spoils the book. Like, it spoils the twist, and that's how I figured it out, was literally like just the cover itself. If you don't want to get spoiled on the book, don't look too closely at the cover because it's very obvious. Like, once you start looking at it, you're like, wait a minute, I think I got it, I figured it out. What attracted me to the story was the fact that it takes place in Argentina. My boyfriend is from Argentina, so I don't know, I just wanted to read a book that took place in his home country, you know, learn more about the country, and that kind of stuff. I don't know, I just thought it would be interesting. The 10th Girl takes place in the 70s, kind of. It's weird, there's some weird time travel supernatural thing going on. This guy, he's like a spirit from 2020, and this book was written, I believe, in 2019, so it doesn't involve a pandemic or anything like that. It's 2020 without the pandemic. He was a spirit in 2020 and somehow travels back in time to 1978 to this school, and the other main character, she decides to work at this school called Vaccaro School. So she decided to go and work at the school as like a teacher. So this school, Vaccaro School, is located at the tip of Argentina, with the southern, you know, just as south as you can go. And the school is completely isolated. It's like on the cliffs next to the ocean, you know, like it's completely isolated from like the outside world. And the story follows the two main characters and the mystery of Vaccaro School. So, not gonna go into too much detail, don't want to spoil it. There is like this mysterious thing that's going on. First of all, there's a spirit from 2020 that is in 1978. What's up with that? So it kind of just like goes into that whole mystery. And the writing is really good and poetic. Like, I kind of could just recommend this book from the writing alone, because I honestly thought it was really beautiful. Just the words in themselves were gorgeous. I still don't know how I feel about the ending of the book though, because I liked it, but also it was kind of messed up. and I don't know, I just have mixed feelings, but the journey itself was really good. I highly recommend reading it. Again, mixed feelings on the ending, but just the writing itself was really cool, and just like the journey of the story and everything, like I don't know, it was very interesting and beautiful, and so I would say give it a read. Try it out. I think it was good. And the story, I don't know, it feels very unique. Like, I will say, like, the actual twist itself has been done before, but the context of the story makes it feel unique, if that makes sense, and the ending. Like, I don't know if I read an ending like this before. Not that I can think of off the top of my head. So, I don't know. I thought it was very interesting. Hi, so, definitely not filming this on a completely separate day. Okay, so the next book I wanted to discuss is I Want to Be Where the Normal People Are by Rachel Bloom, and in this book it's a memoir but about Rachel Bloom's life and just kind of like her early years as a child, and then like kind of how she got to where she is today, how she developed a crazy ex-girlfriend, and just pretty much her entire life. And I feel like I've learned so much about Rachel Bloom, and I really do like learning so much about her because I love Crazy Ex-Girlfriend, so it's just kind of nice to see, you know, into the mind of the person who created it or like co-created it. My favorite part is the musical part in the book. You'll know it when you get there. I feel like if you loved Crazy Ex-Girlfriend, you would like this book. You get to see more of who Rachel is. She plays Rebecca, the main character on Crazy Ex-Girlfriend, for those who don't know. And I don't know, she's a very interesting character. I do a book club type of thing. I mean, I haven't really pushed it at all. It's just me and my mom, really. This is the hashtag. I'm pretty casual with it. It's the whole idea of the book club, the TBR book club, is just to get through my TBR. And so each month has a theme. It's not about reading a particular book, it's just matching a book to a theme, which I think it gives you enough room for creativity and, you know, good selections on books. So this was for January, which was for read a book by someone you've never read before. If you want to join, I usually put a post out on Instagram, and if you want to leave a comment, talk about which book you chose, if you liked it that month or not. So for February, I'm reading The Infinite Noise by Lauren Shippen, but I definitely recommend this if you're interested. Okay, so I read the Camp Jupiter Classified, which is the novella, and this is the collection of short stories, and then this is Tower of Nero, which is the 5th book in the Trials of Apollo. Oh my god, it was so good. This book is really good too, but so many thoughts, so many feelings. I know that there's gonna be short stories in the future. I think those are rumors. I'm not 100% sure if that's actually something that Riordan is planning on doing, but I feel like he said that, or I don't know, hopeful wishing. I'm excited to see the short stories in the future and, you know, how he might continue the series, but I know that this is pretty much the final book in the PJ universe, like full-length novel, and it's kind of sad to see it, you know, go. Like, this has been my series since I was like 12. It's just one of my favorite series of all time. I don't want to talk too much, like I don't want to give away spoilers, but I have a lot of thoughts. I don't know if you could tell. Can you tell how many? Yeah, I have a lot to say. So I do want to make like an actual review, but my plan is to reread the entire series and make like a series of videos on the different series and how to read Percy Jackson and what order was the best, and, you know, that kind of stuff, and like the impact Percy Jackson has on me. That's why I'm planning on just doing this like once I reread the book to make a review on it, which means that this review might take a long ass time to get to, but I'd rather not review it yet, but I don't know when I'm gonna start the reread. Relatively shortly, hopefully within the next couple months. I don't know, there's just some books on my TBR list that I don't know, there's just books that I want to get to and read, so it's gonna be like, how do I balance the new books and rereading Percy Jackson for, oh, let's see, the 17th time? I don't know if you can tell, but I love Percy Jackson, and I really want to discuss this because there are so many so many like moments where I'm like, oh, there's something bigger going on in the background of the series, like this is gonna come up in a short story in the future. Like I have conspiracy theories about this series, like of like what might be coming, like what Rick Riordan might be writing about and stuff. So I kind of want to discuss that. Like I said, I have so much thoughts and I really want to get to them and discuss them with you guys. And if you haven't finished Trials of Apollo, please do. It's so good. I cried. It's great. I highly recommend it. And that's it. That's all the books I wanted to show you guys. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in my next video, which will probably be a review of Hello from the Magic Tower, unless I review Dancing It's On first. Anyways, thank you so much for watching, and happy reading. Bye. Just realized I need to grab the books. Whoops.
Holy shit. Yeah, that like smacked me in the face. I accidentally scratched myself. Alright, let's take two. Let's try this again.
My window's open, so I hope no one can see me as I'm just like... Before I get into this interview, where did I get interview from? I'm excited, wow, can't talk. Can we just talk about the fact that Percy Jackson's now being made into a TV series, and it's very exciting. I know I've been disappointed in the past, but I am very excited to see a new adaptation. Hopefully it's good.